Without a shadow of a doubt, it's the Crockett Show in social media history. I want to welcome you to another episode of the Warzone. Say, man, I've been out of pocket for a couple of days, but get on the phone and call somebody and tell them I am the 5-star general, Joe Biden. I don't know if it's true or not, but tonight we're going to figure it out. My people say you're trying to give out crack pipes. What that means? I tell you what, man, we're going to get down to it tonight. Y'all sit back. Let's get into it. Say, man, I want to welcome you to another episode of the Warzone and tell you thank you for taking time out to tune in, because I know without you good people, I would not have a show. And I want to give you my sincerest apologies, because I have been out of pocket for the last 2 days. And whether you've been sleeping under a rock, you kind of know that, I guess you know that I'm running for state representative. So some nights I got to go and speak to good people in the community, and I had to do that last night. Had a wonderful time at a community meeting that I went to, spoke to a bunch of seniors that fell in love with me, and I fell in love with them. And they would love to have me as their state representative. The thing is that on top of that, I'm a full-time college student. So it's nights where we're not going to be here, because some nights I got homework. And that's what it is. Tomorrow night, I probably will not be here. Because I actually have 2 events. I got to go to school board meeting like I normally do. Houston Independent School Board. And then I've got to do something else. So with that being said, man, how y'all been doing, man? I've been gone for a couple of days, and you know, with that being said, man, I mean, I missed y'all. Hopefully you missed me, but I need to share a screen with you. Let's get this thing moving, and then we're gonna get down to it. Hold on, I'm sharing a screen. Let's share the screen. Let's see if we can actually open this. Okay, so we will be able to open it. Y'all bear with me for a second. We will be able to open it. I got some information that, Joe Biden was thinking about giving out, through his new plan, funding to give out crack pipes to people that may have crack dependency problems. I went and did some homework. So let's just crank it up, and then I want y'all input on this thing. Let's make sure that y'all can see me. You can see the screen. Okay. So now we'll get down to it. The title is No, Biden administration is not giving out crack pipes. Here's what really happened. Okay. If you've been browsing through social media and keeping up with current events, you might have seen headlines suggesting the Biden administration is handing out free crack pipes. No, the White House is not doing so and has shot down these reports. Here's what actually is going on. A number of media outlets reported the White House is providing crack pipes to people addicted to drugs to smoke illicit substances such as crack cocaine. This comes after the Department of Health and Human Services unveiled a new grant program geared towards substance abuse and overdose prevention that would include funding for harm reduction strategies such as safe smoking kits / supplies. These comments are misleading and misinformed. A HHS spokesperson told McClatchy News in a statement about the crack pipe claims that have sparked some outrage online. The program is meant to support community-based overdose prevention programs, syringe services, and other harmful reduction services, according to the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, a branch of HHS that's in charge of the grant program. It's authorized under Joe Biden's American Rescue Plan Act, according to the grant document. No federal funding will be used directly or through subsequent reimbursement of the grantees to put pipes in safe smoking kits. the goal of harm reduction is to save lives. The agency said the funding is going to enhance overdose and other types of prevention activities to help control the spread of infectious diseases and the consequences of such diseases for individuals with or at risk of developing substance use disorders. The day before Bakara's statement, news suggesting the false claims spread rapidly and unleashed waves of criticism from conservatives, including Republican Senator Marco Rubio of Florida, who wrote, "The president is sending free meth and crack pipes to minorities, communities in the name of racial equality." February 8 on Twitter. This led the White House directly addressing the media claims, with Press Secretary Jenny Paskey calling it inaccurate reporting. Crack pipes were never part of the safe smoking kits mentioned in HHS grant. Paskey said at a February night news conference, "We wanted to put out information to make that clear." When asked what the safe smoking kits would specifically include, they say it may include alcohol swabs, lip balm, other materials to promote hygiene and reduce the transmission of diseases like HIV and hepatitis. Paskey said the grant program is one of the steps of the Biden administration is taking to address the opioid epidemic, which is killing tens of thousands, if not more, Americans every single day, week, month of the year. She added that she put out the February 9th statement because of the inaccurate information out there. The grant funds can be used to support harm reduction efforts such as medication, lockboxes, Food and Drug Administration, overdose reversal medication, substance test kits such as fentanyl test strips, and syringes to prevent and control the spread of infectious diseases. The funding is up to $9,750,000 per year, or $29,250,000 over 3 years. And too many Americans have lost their lives to drug overdose. Evidence-based community harm reduction services such as naloxone, fentanyl test strips, and syringe services programs help people stay alive and are proven strategies for addressing this tragic epidemic. The harm reduction grant program offered by the Substance Abuse and Mental Services Administration is designed to put these services within reach for Americans who are struggling with substance use so that they can stay healthy and safe, avoid overdose death, and find pathways into evidence-based treatment. In November, the country's first overdose prevention center supervised injection facilities opened in New York to address the opiate crisis. There are roughly 100,300 fatal drug overdoses nationwide during a 12-month period ending in April 2021. I am here because we need to talk about this. We realistically need to talk about this. Hold on a second, y'all. They want to help with the opioid crisis, but we go all the way back to the war on drugs, late 80s, early 90s. The United States of America, created this drug epidemic. You started this in the 50s and 60s. You created this drug epidemic, and now we want to trust the fox in the hen house. We want to trust the people that created the problem to come up with the solution to the problem. Do I believe that initially the report that went out about crack pipes is true? I believe it was, because it sounds like something Biden would say, because he doesn't think some days when he makes statements. So I guess the first person that he would probably want to get one of these testing kits is probably his own kid. I'm gonna be honest with you. Address the problem in your home, Mr. Biden. Address that problem with your own kid. But not to drag him or his child, because dependency issues are a major concern throughout the United States of America. That I think we need to put more emphasis on them not getting on drugs than before, than what we're doing now, which is dealing with the after effects. And I'm gonna be honest with you. The thing is none of these people that seem to come up with solutions to the problems, they don't want to be proactive in dealing with issues before they even happen. I don't need to know what you're gonna do after the fact. I need to know what you're doing to keep them off the dope. What are we doing to keep people off of the dope? We got the wrong people guiding us, man. You guys hold on a second, man. Hold on. We have to do a better job of helping people not become drug addicts. We have to do a better job of dealing with the supply, supply and demand. If you really want to help people with the drug addiction problems, then stop letting the dope come to the United States. That's my opinion. That's my honest opinion. But so many of these high-level ranking politicians make money off of the drug game that they're not going to stop it. They're not going to stop it. Okay, if you're not going to stop it, if you really want to address it, then address it before it becomes a problem. You want to go into our schools and you want to teach our children about how to react when the police stops you. Why don't you deal with the fact that you have a major drug problem in the United States of America? You feel what I'm saying? And I have people here saying legalize weed. Look, man, alcohol was illegal back in the day. Am I right or wrong? Alcohol was illegal back in the day during Prohibition. Why is weed still an issue? Because they haven't really figured out a true way to tax it. It's so many ways of getting around the taxation of marijuana. They don't know how to tax it. They don't know how to properly tax it. Now, I get what you're saying, Janelle. Janelle saying weed is medical. Everybody don't smoke weed because they got a medical problem. A lot of people smoke weed because it just make them feel good. If we're going to have a conversation, let's just be real about it. There are issues with medical marijuana that helps people. But it's a whole bunch of issues out there with folk that just want to be high. And they not smoking what we smoked back in the day. I didn't smoke no weed, so take me out the equation. But they're not smoking the weed that was just grown at the house. They smoking weed laced with everything from fentanyl to Ajax. They smoking that bucket naked. Tell the truth. Back in the day, you could smoke some weed, and the only problem your mama had with you was you were going to eat up everything in the icebox. Nowadays, they smoking weed, they get naked in the kitchen and throwing the icebox in the middle of the street. What kind of medical issues can that weed solve? Everybody don't have medical reasons to smoke no marijuana. Let's get that straight. They smoking that bucket naked. And you know I'm telling the truth. They smoking that bucket naked. Weed, smoke that stuff, be in the middle of MLK naked. And y'all want to make that legal? You want to put that in some dispensary or some store where they can buy it over the counter, and then your kid go in there to get, some Snicker bars. And you know how some of these stores is, they'll sell anything to anybody. And then all of a sudden your kid go buy some of this weed over the counter, and then your 17, well, let's just be honest, your 13, 14-year-old kid in the middle of Homestead, bucket naked, because we want to legalize marijuana. Say, man, come on, bro. Come on. Do I believe that Biden said that about, well, first of all, we're not in California, Janelle. Let me read her comments. Let me read some comments, and then we'll get into this. Okay, let me back up a little bit, y'all. Okay. So Janelle Don said, I guess crack is back. Janelle Don said, so Biden thinks blacks are overdosing, put 30 millions in public schools. Janelle Don also said, Biden is stupid, but the dummy won't legalize weed. Kiki Will said, bingo. Janelle Don, legalize weed. Kiki Will, right, prevention is better than cure. Exactly. If you want to deal with the drug problem, deal with it before it becomes a problem. Why are we dealing with the problem after the issue? Al, man, boy, you smoked that weed. Their mama had to keep an extra thing of ground beef in the house or something, some chicken. Back when Timmy Tams was $2.50 for a wing dinner. You smoke that weed, you try to eat up everything in the house. The weed they smoking nowadays get them kids bucket naked. And y'all know that. Every now and then you see something on Facebook with somebody in the middle of the street, bucket naked. And y'all want to legalize this? No. Look, man, I'm trying to get to Austin. I'm trying to be a state representative. And I'm not in favor of it. No. We ain't talking about no average weed, man. We ain't talking about just eat up everything in the house type weed, man. We're talking about something that make you take your drawers off in the middle of the street. What type of drugs is that, man? And it looked like we want to experiment with everything that ain't got nothing to do with drugs. Yeah, let's back up a little bit. Let's go back. You was smoking the weed for a second. It was feeling good. You was eating up everything. Then all of a sudden, somebody went to the funeral home and got some formaldehyde. Y'all know what formaldehyde is. That's that dead man juice that they put in them dead people when they embalm them, embalming fluid. Then somebody say, well, let's take the weed that just make you eat up everything and let's dip it in the formaldehyde. That's where you got the dip from. Now, all of a sudden, I'm at the stoplight in their cars. I done caught him at the light. I done tried to wake one of them up. I thought he was dead. But you want to make that type of weed legal? No, I'm sorry. You got medical issues, go to the doctor, or go to Colorado, do whatever you need to do. But if I'm your state rep, I'm not making nothing illegal. I'm not making nothing legal that's going to require you to put your mama's refrigerator in the middle of MLK. No, I'm not going to do it. Don't ask me to support it. Don't ask me to draft legislation for it. If we need to draft legislation for marijuana for medical purposes, I'm not beyond sitting down and having a conversation with the advocates that support that. One of my good friends, she's out there every day in the community, LaTanya Whittington. She's a big supporter of medical marijuana. I am not beyond supporting something like that. But if you think I'm finna legalize a drug that make you take all your kids' stuffed animals and put them in the backyard and have conversations with them. I'm not finna do that. Not gonna happen. So do I think that Joe Biden realistically said something as stupid as funding for crack pipes? I really do. Janelle Dunn says, okay, the problem is that mental health is so bad, folks are popping pills. Man, these people been popping them handlebars before mental health became a major topic. Janelle, cut that out now. You know them people were taking their mama blood pressure pills. These people been experimenting with dope from day one, man. You know what we gotta stop doing? I'm gonna tell y'all something. Let me say this here, man. If we gonna have a conversation, let's have a real one. Bruh, everybody ain't taking no pills for medical purposes. Everybody ain't smoking weed because they got glaucoma. Some of these people are smoking that bucket naked so they can get bucket naked. I don't want nothing. You feel what I'm saying? Hold on a second, y'all. I don't want nothing that's going to make me feel like that. Nothing. I don't want anything that's going to make me feel like that. It's not going to happen. I want to go in and read some of these comments from the other side because we're getting comments from everywhere. Okay, let me go down. Let's go over here. Coney McIntosh, we smoke rabbit tobacco. Al Jackson, Gary, you have my eyes watering with laughter. Mr. 225, he over there cracking up. Al said the refrigerator in the middle of the street. Yeah. Jalen Monroe, they mixing weed with pharmaceuticals now so that the point is, so at this point, marijuana is not just a plant anymore, not the blood pressure pills, Mr. 225. Coney McIntosh, why don't they pull aerosols? So here's my thing that I want people to clearly understand. Jalen, they're not mixing weed with pharmaceuticals. They're mixing weed with dead man juice. Formaldehyde is not a pharmaceutical. Then what they put in dead people. And if you really want to get that close to death, just go over there to the funeral home and tell them inject you with something. But to think that we're going to have a conversation on a state level to give access to people to smoke something that make you take your clothes off? No, we need to be more proactive, man. We have to be more proactive and just be honest with ourselves on a certain level that maybe trying to legalize marijuana across the board when it doesn't pertain to medical situations is not a great idea at this point. It's not a great idea at this point. You guys hold on a second. It's really not a good idea at this point. Come on, man. Let's use common sense. Let's look at the crime rate. Let's look at how things are transpiring in Harris County, in Dallas County, in Austin County, up in San Antonio. Let's look at how this would affect crime. Would it increase crime or would it decrease crime? Would it increase crime or would it decrease crime? And what we have to stop doing is trying to compare, the city of Houston or the state of Texas to California. Those are two totally different situations. Two total different mind frames of how people run their city governments and their state governments. We have a serious problem down here. And all we're going to do is make the problem worse. Now, a bunch of y'all around here sitting on Facebook talking like you gangsters, but know full well that you ain't going to kill nothing, ain't going to let nothing die. So if you're scared, just say that. But stop getting on here trying to push stuff across that you know when it happens, you're not going to be able to deal with it. We can't continue to do that. No, we can't continue to do that and think that we can operate in the state of Texas at the level that we need to operate at, because ain't no way in hell. I'm telling you, if you came sit in my office, because I'm going to win as a state legislator, and we talking about, man, let's talk about medical marijuana. Let's talk about it. Let's have a real conversation about it. Well, you know, I got glaucoma and blah, 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 and my doctor would say this and that. Okay, well, I get that part. You know what I'm saying? But if we just talking about for Joe Blow them around the corner to go buy some weed, now we don't want nothing. Man, these people smoking weed, going to the store, tearing the whole store up. And y'all want to make this stuff legal? Maybe years ago, but at this moment, no. Curtis Chavez has a comment. Let's put it up. Seems to me that drugs have become a huge problem, right as all the programs that gave kids something else to do. Instead of being given a chance to learn useful skills or socialize in healthy ways. I totally agree. We're putting a lot of money into things that if we invested in our youth from a state, federal, city, county level, maybe things would be different in every city across America, every little country town, every state across America. Maybe it would be different. But we're investing in the wrong programs. We're investing in the wrong people. You know, we have to put money into things that are tangible, that we can actually see some results. And these two words that get on my nerves some days: best practices. We following best practices. Well, you know, you tell me, how do you consider it to be best practice to make marijuana that's not medical marijuana issues legal in the state of Texas? Well, who have you seen do this? Tell me about the type of stuff that they dealing with down here. You know, just like the gun issues. The United States of America created the drug problem. Nobody wants to own up to that. And the thing about it is, the drug dealer is just as much as fault as the criminals who get high off this stuff and do what they do. But then there's somebody above the drug dealer, the supplier. The United States of America has been the supplier of these drugs for many, many decades. And we don't want to accept the fact that some of your people in office created legislation to allow certain things to happen. Now, I get it with you progressives, and you want things to change. And well, you know what I'm going to tell you, young progressives? Sit your young behind down, because you ain't been here from day one. You ain't seen what we seen. Our kids can't go out and do normal things. Our kids can't live a normal life. We can't go out and do things as a family anymore because things have gotten so bad. And the people that are in charge of making it better ain't doing nothing to make it better. So right now, I don't think we should do anything that could possibly make it worse. Not at this moment. Maybe in the future. But not at this moment. We can't allow that. No. We have to push the pause button on the way that we're doing things in the United States of America. Now, I get some of y'all don't really care about what goes on in the black and the brown communities, but just know that they ain't got no fence between our communities. When this thing get bad, when they can't rob and steal from us no more, they coming to your community. So if you're sitting back thinking it's a game and you playing politics, and you allowing these laws or supporting these laws or passing these laws that make this a more dangerous situation, but I don't have any empathy for you when it hits your community or your home. I don't. Because if you have the ability to affect drug use by being preventive, The best way to deal with drugs is put some things in place so they don't even deal with it. But we always want to deal with things after the fact. You notice how, regardless if Biden was, the statement about Biden with crack pipes was truthful or not, it only deals with the after effects of what they're trying to accomplish. Mr. Biden, your son probably wouldn't have been on drugs if there were programs in place that would have deterred him from being to even gravitating towards them. You see what I'm saying? We need stuff in place that will push people away from that. We don't have to accept the fact that a lot of people have drug dependency problems. I want to celebrate the fact that they ain't even doing it. Can we celebrate the kid that walked away when he had the opportunity to sell bricks? Can we celebrate the kid that said, I don't want to do drugs? Or do we need to keep celebrating the ones who become drug addicts, lose all their teeth in their mouth, and then all of a sudden, 40 years later, they get their life in order? No, we need to celebrate preventive measures that are put in place so that people will not even gravitate towards this stuff. We got the wrong people in charge right now. I'm sorry, y'all. We got the wrong Democratic people in charge. We got the wrong Republican people in charge. Because if you can't think out the box like me, then something's wrong. Brenda Limbrick Sanders, my good friend, says drugs and crime is out of control. Please don't add another problem. I say no to drugs. I agree with Gary Monroe. Be proactive. You have to be. You have to be. That's the only way you can deal with it. What else can these kids or grown-ups be doing besides drugs? See, you have a problem on the youth level with drug use because you don't have nothing for them to do. See, back in the day with us, instead of doing smoking weed or doing what we were doing, we were playing basketball at the YMCA. We were playing football in Yellowstone Park. You see what I'm saying? We had things to do. We had after-school programs in every single one of our quote-unquote now low-performing schools that kept our minds occupied. An idle mind is the devil's workshop. So we have to find things for people to do that are proactive, that will not even sway them to going and deal with the drugs. We had after-school programs that taught you how to interview for jobs, the JTPA program, the Houston Job Training Partnership Act. That's where I learned how to dress for an interview. That's where I learned how to fill out an application the right way. But we don't have these things anymore, and we can't understand what the problem is. The problem is the people that can provide the funding, create the funding, are not doing that. They're too busy giving the funding to their friends who act like they're helping the community, but in all actuality, they're hurting us. They're hurting us. I had a wonderful conversation last night with some senior citizens, and they are sick and tired of the representation that we have across the board. And it makes no sense that we can't figure out what the problem is. All of this leads us back to the beginning of where the problem really was. And our problem stems from the fact that we have allowed people that don't care anything about us, that only created generational wealth for themselves and for their children, to make decisions on a daily basis that impacts us in a negative way. I am glad that you people that watch every single night are very opinionated. I am happy that you get people every single day truly get it. You truly get it. You feel what I'm saying? But what we cannot continue to do is lie to ourselves and think that these problems are going to fix themselves, because it's not going to happen. And we have to clearly understand that we are rolling downhill in an 18-wheeler with no brakes on it. And the only thing waiting at the bottom of that hill is for us to crash and burn. And that's it. That's it. Every time you look up, there's a new virus. Every time you look up, there's a new drug. Every time you look up, there's a new type of criminal, or there's a copycat, a la the school shootings. It's always an issue. But then when the people who are in control see the issue, they don't address the issue in our communities across the United States of America. And now we're left at the mercy of these quote unquote so-called experts that think that they know every single thing. In Harris County, you have Judge Lena Hidalgo, who I feel maybe years later would have been better at her job. But this is somebody that you people, I didn't vote for, put in office. And now you are just sitting here, a lot of y'all acting like this lady has done a fabulous job. Oh, I'm so happy that you're my county judge. Be real with yourself. She ain't did nothing. She ain't helped us. She hasn't done anything. She hasn't helped us. She hasn't helped us in any aspect of it. I keep saying that to deal with crime in Harris County, you don't need more cops. You need more resources. That's what we're talking about tonight. You need more resources. You need, let's just take the word resource out the equation. You need more hope. People that commit crimes a lot of days feel hopeless. They feel they don't have anything to live for, especially the ones who, with domestic violence, are out there killing their mates. They feel that it's hopeless. We have to have these tough conversations, but we got to have them in a manner to where it's just a common sense conversation. Don't show up, Mr. Politician, if you're going to talk about it politically. Because the bottom line is we're dealing with real world issues while you're dealing with politics. In order to be a good politician nowadays, you have to be bold. You have to be willing to take a stance. And if your representation is not that, then it's time for new representation. If your representation cannot deal with the drug usage in Harris County, like Lena Hidalgo, and trying to solve this issue, then she should not sit in the seat. If your representation has not dealt with crime, Lena Hidalgo, then she shouldn't be your county judge. She should not be. And we're going to have to look at some different options to get the help that we actually need for our people. For any of y'all that have ever dealt with drug use, from the point of being an addict, both sides of the coin, being an addict, what is he talking about? You can be an addict that's actually on the drugs, and you can be the addict that actually sells it. Either way, you're addicted. You're addicted to the drugs, or you're addicted to the money that the drugs make. If there hasn't been any help or any hope for these people, then she should not be your county judge. Adrian Garcia should not be your county commissioner. Rodney Ellis should not be your county commissioner. They're not addressing the issues. And you people who have all the power have to understand they're really not in control until you let them be in control. We have the control. And that's why they can't control me right now. I want Hidalgo out. I have 50,000 push cards. Well, not 50,000 because I've been out giving them out. That say Lena Hidalgo must go. Let me know how many y'all want. I'll give you what you need. We need to flood the hood with that. We need to flood the hood. I mean, these people just need to go. You've been bamboozled long enough. You've been lied to long enough. The only time you're important is voting time. You feel what I'm saying? The only time you're important is voting time. So, leader, we just need to hook up a way. Inbox me, hook up a way where I can get you these push cards. I'm talking about, I don't have no small ones. I got the ones that are this big. This big. And I want her gone. Because she's a joke. See, if we're going to get this train moving to fix us across this country, the first thing we got to do is get some people that work for us and not us working for them. We need some people that when they walk in the room with us in a community meeting, they bow down and respect their bosses. Not somebody that thinks that we're supposed to bow down to them. If you want crime fixed, if you want drugs fixed, if you want anything done, it starts with your vote. Voting in Harris County, early voting starts on Valentine's Day. This is your time to make your voices heard. But if all you're going to do is go in there and push the button because they black, or push the button because they in your sorority, your fraternity, when somebody busts you upside your head with a pistol trying to take your wallet, I ain't going to feel sorry for you. Because the people you voted for don't want to address the issue. So now we have the power. Now we have the power of change, which is our votes. And we have to be responsible. Then you will see what happens when you get somebody in there that actually wants to do the work. I'm not going to sit here and hold y'all all night, man. I'm tired. I do a lot of work. And today was one of those days where I just had to let the body rest. I do a lot of work, but I am grateful for you taking the time out to tune in. I am grateful for you taking the time out to support what I do. So Friday night, tomorrow's my birthday, the day after my birthday, because even on my birthday, I'm going to be advocating for our kids in a school board meeting. So I won't be here tomorrow night. But Friday, I'm going to do my first virtual fundraiser. We'll call it a birthday fundraiser. My first virtual fundraiser where I'm sitting here and I'm talking to you, you asking me questions, and I'm going to answer those questions. I want you to clearly understand that we have to fund this campaign. So whatever you give, just like last time, whatever you give, we'll spend it on the campaign. And we're going to try to get us up to Austin. We ain't going to try, we're going to win. We're going to Austin on this trip. And we're going to stay in Austin and we're going to do the job. And we'll start it off with a campaign of hope, a campaign of family, a campaign of freedom, a campaign of faith. Because it's time to send somebody to a position that can affect the laws that's going to work for us in this community. Over in 147, my good friend Rashard Baylor is running for state representative Yes, he's running for state representative, and we have to support him. He has an opponent that took his, supposedly he's not going to run, Damian Thaddeus Jones, but we found out today that Damian's name is still on the ballot, and Damian has said publicly that he's not going to run. Well, we have to make sure we spread the word that Rashard Baylor is the candidate on that side of the ticket, and that's who you need to vote for, Rashard Baylor. There is no straight ticket voting, so you have to go into the voting booth. You have to know the races. You have to know your candidates. And this Sunday, I'm going to do my endorsement show where I endorse every single race, Republican, Democrat, and I'm going to show you the best options. I'm going to go down the Democratic side of the ticket. I'm going to go down the Republican side of the ticket. And I'm going to show you, this is the primaries, what it needs to be. But if you want some of these push cards and they just as big as a sheet of paper, let me know. Because Hidalgo has to go. She has not been good for people. So, with that being said, my good friends, I love y'all to death. I'm tired today. I love you to death. Remember Friday night. Well, let's start off Friday. Friday, 2 p.m. RagingElephantsRadio.com. Talk that from a conservative perspective. The hottest podcast in radio. I will be live on the podcast this Friday at 2 p.m. We'll come through with the virtual fundraiser. Let me make a note. Virtual fundraiser right here, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, where you can donate to me right then. You feel what I'm saying? Right then, you can donate to me. And hopefully, it is what it is. We're getting ready to kick this campaign off, and we're going to go hard in the paint. I can tell you that. We're going to go hard in the paint for our people, which is y'all. Black, white, Latino, Asian, don't matter to me. We're going to go hard in the paint. So thank you for being who you are. Thank you for helping me become who I am. Because without y'all the only family I got some days, man. It is what it is. It is what it is. And I love you to pieces. But we ain't finna put no bucket naked weed. We ain't finna make that legal. I can tell you that now. That ain't gonna happen, not on my watch. Not gonna happen. Say, man, it's a reason I'm the best in the business. Every night, when I can be here, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, it's the great one. The one you done read about. The one you saw on the national news. You know who I am. Call your friends and tell them. I am the 5-star general. HISD is board meeting night tomorrow night. And the general is coming. What am I going to say? I never know until I get there. But I tell you what, I'm going to leave it on the floor. Until then, I'll holler at y'all.